Every programmer knows that coding isn't always green grass and blue skies because there are such things we call bugs. Bugs are possibly errors in the coding that causes the program to do something that you really didn't want it to do. Now, sometimes bugs in the program are caused not by the users like me, my coding, but sometimes it's a bug in the actual development environment. Now, I dare say, I don't know how many bugs I've found in my life. I dare say millions sounds like an awfully lot, but I've been coding a really long time. It could be that many. Now, the vast majority, I mean the 99.99% of the time, the bugs are my problem. I have done something wrong that caused the program to behave differently than I wanted it to. But on very rare occasions, I have found bugs in the software development environment itself. Now, it's easy for a really arrogant programmer to jump to the conclusion that it's nearly always a problem in the development environment because, gee, how could they make a mistake? Well, trust me, it's nearly never that way. Now, for a couple of months, I have had a problem bothering me in MakeCode for Minecraft on Windows 10 that I kept thinking must be my misunderstanding, or the biggest problem was that sometimes the program performed one way and another time it performed a different way. And I've run into this problem on a number of different programs, and the problem comes and goes. For example, one day the program will have the problem and the next day it doesn't. And I have spent much time trying different things to figure out why sometimes it has it and why sometimes it doesn't. Now, I don't really think I've succeeded, but without more description, let's go take a look at this problem. Okay. Here, to demonstrate it, I have two chat commands. One is called move me, and it has arguments E and S. All arguments in chat commands are numbers. And yes, they can, although many of the examples say num1, num2, num3, 3 is being the maximum number of arguments that a chat command can have, the names of the arguments can actually be anything you like. The second chat command, which is called test, has two arguments, T1 and T2. So the name of the chat commands, that one being test, this one being move me, the name of the arguments, those are basically the only difference between these two chat commands. What they do is they say they're running, there and there. They print out, or they say the value of the parameters, and then they say they're done. So these two pieces of code should perform the same way. And I'll notice in the JavaScript, I always like to check the JavaScript to see if I have anything going on with global variables or anything looks like strange. Well, there's nothing strange here. And you can look at the blog if you want to study this more. But again, you can see here that these two basically are identical except for the various names. Okay. So it moved it, and yes, it sometimes does that when you look at the JavaScript. Now let's go try running tests to start with. And we will give it two parameters, 3 and 4 values. And see, it printed out 3 and 4. And that's all there was to it. Now, let's try move me. and we'll give it parameters 3 and 4. And look, it printed out 0, 0. What happened to the values 3 and 4? Well, they just didn't take. This is the bug that I have had in several different programs for reasons I do not understand. Now, let me just show you something I've discovered through various trying different things. Let's just rename this program Move, M-O-V. And just for completeness sake, I'll say running move here, and I'll say move done. Now, wouldn't it just make you crazy if this one actually worked? Let's go try it. I'm going to say move. Oops, better spell it correctly. Okay, I'm not doing so good. Move 3, 4. Yep, that makes me like totally crazy. And like, if I'm not crazy enough, let's go back and just change this back to move me. And let's try it again. Oh my gosh, see there, 0, 0. Why does this happen? I have absolutely no idea. But I believe I have demonstrated here that it is not a problem with my code. This, I believe, is an actual bug in the MakeCode for Minecraft on Windows 10 development environment. Now, I'm not horribly upset by this because this happens. And what I wish is there were information online about this bug so that I wouldn't have banged my head against the wall for 2 months trying to figure out what was going on. I could have just done a search and there it was. Other people have had this problem, so I can use arguments. I am using my arguments correctly. I hope this helps you. Thank you.